today, so we want to make sure that we jump right in. We've got a full cast of dads that are ready to talk about all things Microsoft, UbiSoft, and Sony tonight. There are far too many for me to begin to introduce them to you one by one like we have the last couple of nights, but if you would jump in and look right there on the right-hand side of your page, you'll see who's talking, when they're talking, and you can kind of decide who you're trying to listen to and hear speak. They're going to talk about everything from all the different developers today, their favorite things they had to hear. Since we've got so many, we want to jump right in. I want to throw it over to Celiphus. He's going to drop in and talk about some Gears of War 4 that he saw today at E3. So, Celiphus, go ahead and drop in and tell us about your first impressions of that.
Oh man, Gears of War 4 was super excited to see it. We got to see lots of campaign gameplay. I got to see, got to play the beta earlier this last couple months. But it was nice to be able to actually see some solid campaign. See the characters and enemies coming at you. See the weather effects were coming at you. I think the weather is going to play a huge role in this game. And I gotta say, towards the end of the trailer, we thought it was over. They come back, and then they show the reveal of Marcus Phoenix sitting there being a badass.
Super
old.
It
was an awesome moment.
He's about what, 10 years? 10 years older?
It should be about 20 years later. Yeah.
20 years older. All right.
He had that dad look with the beer in his hand.
Dad look. Gotta love dad look. Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's throw some of the conversation over. Like I said, we want to try to keep everyone involved here, so we won't be cutting anybody off, but we also want to make sure that we keep everybody involved here. Resorto, man, tell us a little bit about what you were most excited about looking in the Microsoft stream today that kind of really had your gears going.
We're talking Gears or we're talking Microsoft?
Microsoft. I just say Gears is a playful pun. Yeah. Thanks for not picking up on
that. Well, did we hit everything on Gears of War? I mean,
well, I'm sure other guys will want to talk about Gears as well. I mean, there's a lot to chat about in Gears, but I just kind of wanted to give everybody a chance to pitch in.
All right. Obviously, Gears, big one. Took a whole bunch of notes on that, but then the consoles, obviously, the hardware that's coming out. We got the Slim coming out, and we got Project Scorpio. The Slim, it's 40% smaller. No more big hefty brick. It's going to be in there. It's supposed to play Blu-rays better. It's supposed to have all that. It's gonna be more travel-some friendly. We're gonna like that. But yeah, that wasn't the only thing. Project Scorpio was introduced at the end of the conference, and that I'm gonna wait for that one. I'm definitely gonna get that one. We don't know a price on that, but
it's not gonna be cheap.
It won't be cheap. No.
Not at all.
And it was announced at it was announced for holiday 2017.
Right.
Something like 6 teraflops for graphics GPU.
I think that's the best timing, because if it was coming out this year, I'd be like, I don't have the funds for that. Who does? You need a year warning. Save up $1,000 or whatever it's gonna be. We don't know. But the Slim is supposed to be $299, which is a great price. That's how much the Xbox was before E3.
It's $299 for the 500 gigabytes, and then it goes up to $400 for the 2 terabyte.
I did not see
which
that.
is really not bad that you get a full terabyte and a half more for $100. I mean, that's a great bargain. No
Plus, also,
how you look at it.
Still at $299, and you still get the ultra high def Blu-ray player, which is kind of introductory price.
Yep.
And I bet you save you more money. I bet you could go ahead and just buy yourself an HD. A hard drive and just stick it in there your own self.
There you go.
Save you about $80.
Yeah, we talk about a gaming system as powerful as that is. Reno, what do you feel about how something like Gears or maybe whatever game you would like to talk about would really perform on a system like that really kind of has you excited?
Yeah, well, maybe one of us should define what a teraflop is.
Go for it. Yeah, that'd be good. I'm waiting. Everyone wants to jump in. Go ahead, Mick. We've been talking about teraflops all day. I got no idea. I'm not the techie one of the bunch.
It looks like he's typing it in now.
The teraflop, that's what you do to a pancake.
It's just a unit of computing speed when it comes to how many floating point operations per second. It's just
good.
It's good, right? Well, for example, I'll give you an example real quick. So the PlayStation 4 currently runs at 1.8 teraflops. The Xbox One currently runs at 1.3 teraflops. An NVIDIA 980 is give or take 7.1 teraflops. So that's kind of a comparison for you.
And the Xbox One Slim was rated today at how many?
I don't think they said how many that was running at, did they?
No, I don't think that's it.
No.
But
I know
this-
the rumored
be-
PlayStation Neo is rumored to be at around 4.5 teraflops.
They pulled
Okay.
it. We'll
So
talk
just
about
Which
that
they
to
later.
did
put that in
pull,
perspective, the calculations that that Mitt just talked about, this is actually 6 trillion calculations per cycle.
Yeah.
Actually, I would rather
That's ridiculous.
talk about the clubs that are coming. I feel like that would be his thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
When we get there.
that is absolutely
Yeah,
What are you gonna do with
absolutely.
clubs?
Well, let me talk about the hardware first, because what the Project Scorpio, what I'm really interested to find out is how like a single game can have a 2-layer experience, right? So the idea is it'll be the same game. You could play it on the Xbox One that's currently out there, plus the Xbox Slim, and then it'll have a lot more offerings and high bit rate and uncompressed pixels and this other awesome experience. I'm just wondering, what that's going to look like, what the price point will be, if it's going to be the same price per game.
I imagine the game would be the same price, yeah. But that I don't imagine it would be much different than buying a game on Steam and then playing it on minimum settings versus ultra settings.
Right.
That would be awesome.
Well,
That's
Johnny,
actually-
you've kind of. I was going to say,
Go ahead, Johnny.
you've
No, I
piped-
like where you're going. Let's
Yeah.
go with it.
Yeah, go ahead. You've piped up a couple times, Johnny. Kind of give me your rundown of what you were most excited about seeing in this. If you want to talk about the hard drive, man, the hardware, go ahead. Keep talking about the hardware. If you want to switch to a game, feel free to do that as well.
Specifically Microsoft.
Yeah, specifically Microsoft. Well, we'll talk UbiSoft and we'll talk Sony afterwards.
So, Gears was cool, but actually, probably the thing that I was kind of the most hyped with was the new Forza game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Forza Horizon 2 might be up there with, like, if not then one of the greatest racing games I've ever played. And I actually had some trouble, like, last year with Forza 6 because it's like, oh, hey, drive around Nürburgring again. Or, hey, look, Mazda Speedway's back again. Where
Driving simulator.
Can I jump in that with you, Johnny, and just say that the moment when they brought all 4 racers in the same experience
Yes.
was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and it's just gorgeous, and it just looks like a shit ton of fun to play. And the off-roading that Horizon gave us was so much fun last time around. I'm sure this will be just great, and they did a great choice in setting, because you get the diversity of beach, desert, jungle, and what's the other one? Beach, desert, jungle. Yeah, I
Roads.
think that's it, actually.
And basic roads.
And roads. Yeah, and then they had. But
Well,
yeah, it just looks. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Servin, man, why don't you jump on in here too? I know that you live in that Xbox world. Do you want to jump in and chat about some of that too? If he's there. May not be around. May have stepped away. That's okay too. All right. Well, I know we want to talk about some clubs and things like that before we move on. We're about 15 minutes in, and if we get to the end and have a little extra time, we can go back and maybe say, okay, what's your unforgettable moment of the day? So that'll be our incentive is at the end. If we can get to the end and have a little extra time left over, we'll run straight down the list and say, okay, your most unforgettable moment of the day, and give it right at the end. So, Reno, why don't you talk a little bit about clubs and Dad's Gaming and how we fit into this LFG and arena and things like that in the new Xbox piece they talked about today.
Yeah, that's very exciting. They kind of quickly went through it, and they said that Xbox Live is going to have 3 new offerings. And the first one is going to be clubs, and you can create your own club. You can recruit for it and things like that. So additionally, we're still learning on what a club is and how many members we can contain and things like that. The hope is that it'll be similar to what we have with Overdog, which is an application which you have to go outside of the dashboard experience to go in application, and there we have presence. We have a Dad's Gaming group. There's a lot of us there. We're actually the second largest group in Overdog. So I'm hoping we can have something similar on the Xbox Live experience, and then somehow if that's incorporated with the looking for groups. So how wonderful would that be if we can have our own group, our own looking for group in our clubs? You can easily get like a raid team together for for Destiny or a 6-party person to take on some other racing games and stuff. It's just going to be amazing. And then Arena, that's another thing that we're experiencing as well. When we want to have tournaments and things like that, maybe we can just set up our own tournament. We can have like a Madden. They said Madden's going to come out later on, probably. Their entry would be 2017. They're going to adopt it, but not at first. So it would be really fantastic if we can have our own leagues and things like that. It's going to be a great time for us.
We've done things like the Destiny tournaments as well in the past. So having Arena set up for stuff like that would be great.
I will say a Dad's Gaming Madden League will really test the strength and bonds of how much we really believe this community sticks together, though. I could see some harsh things being said about some Madden going on and some passes over the middle and some prevent defenses or maybe too much blitzing. I don't know. And heaven forbid somebody hurt Riker Matthews in that thing and upset Mitt over there. Big brother gets a little upset. You know what I'm saying? So
we have a lot of friends in the NFL.
That's right. That's right.
So Sackside brings up a good point in chat, and he's actually here with us today. And so I want to hear what he has to say about some pretty big Microsoft news today as well. Zach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know. I'm not in the Xbox world, but I'm surprised to hear no one brought up PC Anywhere, and I'm interested to see what your guys' interest is in it.
PC Anywhere?
Play Anywhere. The Play Anywhere feature they're bringing with all the new games.
Play Anywhere. My bad.
I guess I'll start on that. As to that, I actually think it's really cool. It's the sort of thing that internet fanboys will hate on because it means that they don't get their game on just their little plastic box and nothing else. But for me, I think it's really great. I mean, more people are getting the game on more different platforms, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep,
absolutely. Good word. Anybody else want to pitch in on that as well?
Yeah, well, the thing, and I'm not exclusively PlayStation or Xbox. I do play my Xbox sometimes, and the thing that excites me for that is that it's completely cross-play. Anything that's Play Anywhere is cross-play as well. And so now you can play on your PC with your friends that are Xbox, and you can play on Xbox with your friends that are PC.
On exclusive games.
Right. Well, any of them that have that Play Anywhere tag, is according to what they said today.
Hopefully, I'd really like to see, I'm not sure if this will happen, but I would really like to see third parties pick.
Yes, I would love that. So, as you guys know, Overwatch has been a big game that's on PC as well as consoles. If they did something like the Play Anywhere with that I would have been so happy.
It's going to be weird, though, when you're talking about stuff like first-person shooters, though, because everyone will point out mouse look speed and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think just
Gears of War, they said it's going to be co-op.
Just the portion of being able to buy it once and being able to play it on either PC or Xbox and kind of continue off is amazing.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Well, man, I know that we could talk about some of the stuff for days and days, but we're going to try to keep it to somewhat of a tight schedule. Let's move on to some of the Ubisoft stuff that we saw this afternoon. I know that we've got some big Ubisoft fans in here that want to talk about things like Ghost Recon Wildlands. I don't know, maybe continuing to see what the Division has up to offer next. So who wants to jump in and just start out talking about some Ubisoft?
Since you phrased it that way, did anyone else catch that awkward pre-show where they went on about how you pronounced it, Ubi or Ubisoft?
Yeah, some of it. Towards the end of it, I caught the pre-show, but
that was kind of painful to watch.
But they always have Aisha Tyler, who does an amazing job with hosting.
So well.
So.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, Reno, man, why don't I pass it to Reno? He's the biggest Ubisoft fan that I think I know. So, Reno, why don't you jump in and talk about some of the things you're most excited about seeing in their presser today?
So, for the Division, we saw DLC 1 and DLC 2. So, the first one is the Underground Experience. They actually showed the preview during the Xbox Live event, and then during the Ubisoft one, we actually saw the part 2, which is Survivor, and that to me looks interesting as well. So. They both offer completely different gameplays and new experiences, and it brings realism of post-apocalyptic, things happening in New York City, where you're very limited in resources. You have very small amount of friends you can trust and a little bit of ammo, and how are you going to survive and how you get out of that. So I'm really interested to see where that takes us. And also one of the like 2 second frames that we saw was it's going to be in Manhattan for Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be pretty remarkable. The Ghost Recon is phenomenal. Like the gameplay that they showed with two guys on motorcycles, two in a pickup truck, and then one in a helicopter. Like that got me excited. That got me pumped because you can, with an open world like that, you can take on targets any way you want. You could try to be as stealthy as you can. You could try to destroy the city to get one person if you if the mission calls for it. Like there's a lot to that game, and I know it's going to be exciting to see how that develops.
So basically, become the mercenary you always wanted to be. I'm going to be honest. I had 8-1 good money that you were going to talk about Just Dance 2017 first. So I'm really disappointed that's not the direction you went off on first with.
No, and War and I are going to talk about over on the Watch Dogs 2 for the next 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It's the clip that they showed was pretty much hack everything, and it was like a montage of all these different devices that you can hack and stuff. So gonna save that for another time. But I'm really interested to see how that game plays out. The first one to me felt like a sandbox, but I still played the entire game. I played all the DLC, so I put a lot of time into it. And I'm really excited to see how you can hack San Francisco.
Yeah, man. It sounds like it's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to some of the things they bring forward from there. Pickle 33, man. Why don't you jump in and tell us a little bit about what you thought about some of the things you saw in the UbiSoft reveal?
Honestly, the only thing I focused on was Ghost Recon because it's honestly the only thing I cared about from them. I'm just a big
Fair
Tom
enough.
Clancy fan, and so I enjoy the Division, but honestly don't play it that much. I kind of lost interest in it. I just wasn't that into the grinding, but I'm really, 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 really excited about Ghost Recon.
Yeah,
Always
what's the thing that has you most excited about the Ghost Recon? Maybe that you saw from today.
Mostly the change into the big open world co-op kind of format. Because I mean, the other games have been more kind of a linear feel with a little more open areas that you crawl through and go through in different ways. But this takes it to a whole new level, to where you have so much more that you can do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Warblade, man, give me some of your thoughts on maybe what you thought about some of the stuff that we saw from UbiSoft today.
So the one that really actually surprised me was, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's Trials of the Blood Dragon, and this is pretty much merging two kind of favorited franchises, one of which is Trials, which is kind of this platformer where you do motorcycle racing, and they have all these different kind of tracks that you can kind of go and race against your friends with and try and beat their scores. But then there's Blood Dragon, which was this extra kind of DLC project that originated from the Far Cry 3 team, and they decided to go, the original Blood Dragon was this DLC that pretty much you played this cyberpunk in the, I guess it was like kind of really 80s themed, and you played it really in the future, but now they're kind of merging both of those together. So they had this incredible commercial in the beginning of it, and where it made every kind of 80s fanboy kid, and where you had action figures and everything for the commercials just light up with excitement. And so you're going through and you get to shoot things, you get to, I think you're even able to run around in these levels now instead of just being on a motorcycle.
Yeah, so is that what made all the hair on your head stand straight up, or was that the hair treatment tonight?
That's my basic hair treatment. I think it's always
that's the hair treatment. So it wasn't the game, it wasn't UbiSoft performance today that it was.
Nah.
Well, Mitt, I want to ask you, man.
And
did you
Warblade.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but don't forget who voiced the lead in the original Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon? Michael Biehn.
Yes.
As in, like, Terminator fame.
Yes.
Michael Biehn of Terminator fame. Well done. Good deep dive there. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate that. Well, Mitt, what would you say about For Honor? Had you seen For Honor before? Was that the first time you had seen that?
I hadn't seen For Honor before, and I was actually, if you were going to call on me, I was going to bring that up as the part of this
because we know
reveal that I like the most.
We're good. We know one another, man.
We're good like that.
Give me all the goodies.
Well, the trailer they showed was kind of a cinematic trailer, at least at first. I think they may have shown some gameplay later on, but that first opening trailer was just epic. I mean, you've got the Vikings facing the Samurais, facing the Knights, and they just seem to be battling forever. I mean, they had some time lapse shots, and they just kind of went through the course of time, and then it kind of led on to the fact that there was, and I'm not up on this series. I don't think this isn't the first game like this, right, guys?
There was a game by Microsoft called Rise, which is a little similar, but they didn't have 3 factions of that. I think.
Got it. Well, it was intriguing to me at the very end of that cinematic trailer. They kind of showed somebody else that wanted the war to continue, and it was kind of pulling the puppet strings a little bit, and that really intrigued me. That was some great foreshadowing that made me just kind of want to pick it up and play it.
Yeah, I thought it looked good as well. I've watched some gameplay to it beforehand and some of the making of behind, and even the way they talk about some of the intricacies of how they made the game, and not really knowing how knights used to fight because nobody chronicled that. So they really had to kind of recreate some of that. Just made me. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a fun game. What I have seen of some of the gameplay that they released a few months ago was really, really cool. So that's probably what I was most excited about from Ubisoft and the whole thing as well. So maybe we'll get to play that together. That would be a good time, to be sure. Anybody big on the Assassin's Creed movie trailer that we got, or movie tidbits that we got today? Anybody want to jump in on that? No, not really. My jury's still out on me on the Assassin's Creed movie until I see one that just really knocks my socks off of any game movie. I don't know that I'm going to be too pumped about that yet.
This movie might be the one, that will make kind of a good video game movie.
Very well.
I was about to say the same thing. I think this might be the one that starts it.
Yeah, I know that there were some certain folks excited about Steep as well in our Discord chat. That was kind of the one that I wasn't familiar with, that popped up several times with folks going, "Ooh, oh, I was a little impressed with Steep." So, what are your guys' first impressions off of Steep?
Well, if I may, I'll jump in on Steep. I thought it came out of left field, and I thought it was very impressive. It seems like a racing game. Mitt had mentioned it's like SSX, where it has a cross between the snowboarding, extreme sports type deal, with even a little bit of burnout in there. The way you can jump in and jump out of a multiplayer, and the way you can track what people are doing, and even do the replays. The cinematics were great, and how you can jump from mountaintop to mountaintop, and you can just see the scenic view and just all the things you can do. It really came out of left field, and I thought it was a very interesting concept and a way to bring us back to a racing type game in a different environment.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I agree. I like everything that we've heard from it so far. I will say that one of the things about Ubisoft that has been a challenge for some of the guys that I play with is that some of them really loved Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, found it to be a great shooter, but really, and again, this is just how games are, right? Some people love some games, some don't. Felt like The Division did not live up to the game type that they thought it was from the beginning. One of those was Dill Pickle, and so Pickle's in here as well. Pickle Man, I would love to hear what you think about some things like Wildlands, or maybe For Honor, and some of these. Maybe what are your expectations, or what were you excited about from seeing today from Ubisoft?
Yeah, Ubisoft's been one of those ones for me where I always want to try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I've been burned a little bit in the past. Watch Dogs was one of those ones that was really disappointing for me. Division was a huge one. I mean, we've been looking forward to that for 2 years, and I played it for 2.5 weeks, and I was out. So I think Wildlands, hopefully they've taken some lessons from that and from feedback. It looks like it's going to be a lot more fast-paced, a lot more. It's not going to be so much bullet sponges as for enemies, so I think that'll be good. More focused on stealth than, hey, you're in this room with a bunch of bad guys, now mow them down while more come. So I don't know. I like the infiltration aspect, which I think was not present in The Division. So I was definitely impressed with the video they showed today for Wildlands. So I have hope for that one.
Yeah, good. Well, man, we're at the 11:30 mark now. Well, 11:30 my time. That's going to be 12:30 Eastern. So we'll stick with Eastern. We're at 12:30 Eastern time. We want to keep rolling this thing to about 45 minutes. We know that most of you guys have games you want to play and get to, so we don't want to leave Sony out. Sony was the last one to go this evening. They went for right at like an hour and 10 minutes or so, and for the entire hour and 10 minutes, I mean, pretty much virtually
VR.
the entire hour and 10 minutes, they just showed games and game trailers. There wasn't a whole lot of
On
talking with
VR.
devs. And they talked about VR. They talked about other things going on. So I want to start with a discussion that Warblade and I were having earlier. We were talking about the things that he found problematic with it that I liked about it, and vice versa, was that they did not have any devs talking pretty much the entire time, except for when Mr. K came out and knocked everybody's socks off with his Norman Reedus nude figurine on screen. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That was very.
Let's bring that up now.
Little too much Reedus butt crack for this dad. But there were lots of ladies out there hooping and hollering. So Warblade, what did you think about coming from the other side of maybe not enjoying all the gameplay footage or all the trailer footage that you did enjoy, or maybe that you would have done a little differently?
I don't know. I think there's kind of a give and take aspect of kind of involving devs and having them kind of share their passion for what they're doing to kind of create the games and display the games. I think Yarny is a good example. Last year, I don't remember if it was at E3 or if it was another one, but they had...
Yeah, it was E3.
They had the developer kind of come out on stage. He was obviously very nervous about speaking about his game, but it was this passion project that he had to kind of create this game and show it for the first time as a product. So I think that kind of aspect adds a lot to kind of seeing the devs and their heart for what they're doing and creating just these great experiences for us all to kind of play through.
Yeah. Well, I know that for me, I kind of fed off of the constant energy. It was like right as soon as I thought something was going to go away, the next thing came up, the next thing came up, the next thing came up. Sackside, what were you feeling as those just rolled through and wave after wave after wave of game came?
I thought it was awesome. I actually don't mind the devs not being there. Just to go back to Death Standing, I thought that was a great game. At least first look. He's very cryptic, so I'm very interested to see the people that know Kojima and what they're going to say about breaking down his video and what these little aspects in the video mean. I was introduced to him through the last Metal Gear Solid and went back and looked at some of his history. I mean, even down to the song. This song is going to mean something and have some relation to the game. So I'm very interested to see what they conjure up, what they come together. This looks like a crew that was brought together to do Silent Hill. And when that project went awry, looks like this project took over because he's dealing with the same Norman Reedus. And I think Guillermo may be in the background also. So I'm very happy to see that. Just to also talk about Days Gone. I don't know if you guys are going to bring that up, but Days Gone looks awesome. I'll pause there and let you guys jump in on that.
Yeah, so Dill Pickle, why don't you jump in on maybe Days Gone and tell us kind of what your thoughts were on that, and then I'll go to Risordo next.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was definitely at first was like, okay, do we need another zombie game? Do we need another post-apocalyptic zombie game? Dying Light was fun. We've had Last of Us. We've had a few other ones. But I don't know. It kind of impressed me on a technical level, seeing all those zombies on screen at one time. That was
yeah, it was a little terrifying.
It felt like World War Z to me.
I had very World War Z impressions. That's exactly what I thought when I saw it. So I mean, as long as it brings something new to the table, I thought it looked really good. It looked really fun. It looked good. Graphically, it looked good. The characters I didn't love at first in the cutscene they showed. I didn't really buy the characters, but it's such a little window that I'm not going to pass judgment on them quite yet. So.
Sure. Well, Risordo, do you want to speak on that, or do you want me to throw? I wanted to throw a game that's cross-platform to you if you want it, but if you want to speak on that, I want to give you a moment to as well.
Can I talk about Sony, or can we come back to that later? Like just in general.
Sony in general, man. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So not any game specific, but I heard a lot of VR for a while, and then I heard Activision talk about their Call of Duty game, and they showed off their space mission, of course. No MP, which everyone wants to see though. And then they just showed off Crash Bandicoot. People were excited, but then they said it was a remaster, and everyone stopped clapping.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. Also noticed they didn't show their Neo off. I heard that they delayed that for another time because of the leaks about Scorpio. Anybody think that too?
Well, I mean, there's some speculation of that, so I don't want to get into it too much, but yeah, I mean, there's word spread about that they were gonna reveal, and then when they heard about Scorpio and thought they may have been outclassed a little bit, they backed out. But we can't really make a good educated guess, and we don't want to do them disservice and get off on that probably too far off the beaten path. Anybody else want to jump in and say anything? Yeah. Well, let's talk a little about too. They went game heavy, and so we'll kind of stick game heavy. But the VR too. What did you guys think about some of the potential for VR with things like the fighters? It looked like something like a fighter squadron with Star Wars, and some of the the Call of Duty in space. I mean, most people that were in chat were kind of like, "Man, what's this? What's this space game? Oh, that's Call of Duty."
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's exactly
the sentiment you had there. Johnny, man, what were some of your thoughts on some of the VR stuff that you saw there and from PlayStation? And does that pique your interest at all?
As to what I saw, I mean, yeah, some of it looked cool. Obviously, the X-Wing Battlefront stuff, I mean, it looks cool. At the same time, it's like, okay, I know how that game works. And it's going to be, Battlefront is going to be like, oh, well, here's a 15-minute, VR mission. And that'll be cool. But
it looks beautiful.
I don't know. And it does, but I'm still not sure that I'm going to shell out $400 for that. I am curious to see what Rocksteady's doing with the Batman Arkham thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious to find out what that's going to do, because on one level, like if you've played the Arkham games where you can basically glide over the city and then swoop down and kick ass and all that I'd be down with.
First person fighting or VR fighting would be pretty interesting and maybe hard to do. I don't know. I feel like the camera angles would be kind of everywhere. But
I tell you, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, but the one experience that I hope with that was announced with UbiSoft with Steep, I really hope that they bring VR to Steep. That would be something incredible. Of kind of going around skiing or doing your the squirrel suit and flying around, looking around in VR would be amazing.
Yeah. Hey, Cephas, so you are the newest PS4 owner of the bunch that has been on the Xbox side. What was the PS4 exclusive that got you most excited that you saw today from Sony?
That would be Horizon Zero Dawn.
Tell me a little bit about your feels toward Horizon Zero Dawn.
So I only saw a quick recap of it, but it just looks like a really fun kind of open world action RPG, similar to what I would say Shadow of Mordor, almost in a sense, in regards to the action style. It looks a little bit stealthy. I love the fact that pretty much your only weapon is a bow and a dagger.
Yes.
And I mean, who doesn't want to play with gigantic robot dinosaurs? I mean, that alone is just awesome.
Dinosaurs. It all looked good. I agree. Well, there's several other PlayStation games that I'm sure we can get to as well, and I don't want to leave any of them behind. What did anybody think about the God of War trailer at the beginning? I know there was some hard feelings about it.
It looks so good.
So good.
Mitt, tell us what you think about God of War.
This is really dorky. I literally cheered when Kratos stepped out from the shadows. Like literally in my living room, cheered out loud. My wife comes running in. She's like, "Well," I'm like, God of War! They're doing another one. Oh my gosh!" I loved it. I was so happy that they're rebooting the franchise. It seems at least that's what they're doing. I hope they do it right. It looks from that little trailer that they are. And I'm really excited for it. I don't know if did I show enough enthusiasm?
Phenomenal. Oh my gosh, it looked so phenomenal. I couldn't get over it. He was ripping that troll's head off. Ugh.
Well, I'll say one of the things that was mentioned in the chat is that some things, Johnny mentioned this earlier, so Johnny, I'm going to steal your thunder and give you credit for it if that's okay, was that everything is looking maybe on the Sony side a little bit too much Naughty Dog all the way around. And so how would you, Johnny, is that kind of what you were saying earlier? How would you say that plays into your opinion of God of War, and are you okay if it kind of goes that direction?
I really like the franchise. And yeah, my thoughts were if you watched that whole conference, you can tell how much of an impact The Last of Us had on that entire company, because a lot of that stuff gave me a little bit of that vibe, but especially God of War did. And I'm going to step aside from the pack here and say I didn't like it because it did that, because when I play God of War, I want giant backdrops where, you've got that locked camera behind him and you go through and you get the fast action and all of that. What we got was this sort of methodical pace, sort of slow walking around with him and what might be his son, I guess, or someone else, or someone else's son or nephew or whatever. And they're talking and they're going through, and you've got the two characters and all of that, and it's all very emotional and meaningful. And that's not what I want out of God of War. I want big, angry dude ripping the head off of creatures. And
there you go.
And yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. Not
fair
God
enough,
of
man.
War.
Fair enough.
Can I jump in on this topic real quick?
Go ahead, jump in. Do it.
I completely agree, and I wasn't I didn't want to be the first one to say it, but I completely agree with you, Johnny. There was a lot of Naughty Dog influence. I even thought the same thing when I seen Days Gone. When I seen God of War, I'm with you. So you're not by yourself in that pack. I did not like that it was that it was Naughty Dog-ish or esque, but and it looks like they're trying to humanize him, but I hope that this is just the prologue to something bigger, and that it's going to build from the human version of him to some tragedy happening, and then he gets angry, then he becomes, the
yeah,
badass Kratos.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't want them to humanize Kratos. Kratos isn't human. He's this big, angry ball of anger, and that's all I want him to be.
Exactly. So it seems like he's been through a couple tragedies, and now he's had some time off, and they're made human, but it's still in him. I mean, he's still half a god, right? So, and the same thing with Days Gone, and the same thing with some of the other games. I do like, just to go back to Horizon real quick, I love that game, and I think the Shadows of Mordor comparison was spot on, with obviously some differences that I can't wait to dive into. But I think that's going to be their lead seller. Yeah, that's it.
Well, going over to Warblade, you saw a web slinging superhero that you may want to talk about as well. Tell us a little about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. So it's been a franchise that's been with Activision, but this one is actually now put out by, I believe it's Insomniac Games. And it looks freaking amazing. I mean, I don't own a PS4. The game looks so clean. If you look back to and think back to the other trailers, I mean, everything's kind of this gritty open world kind of look, a lot of dust, a lot of everything else. But this is like based in Manhattan, where Spider-Man's from. Everything looks really, really clean for it. And just the actions and the cinematics that they're able to do with Spidey and kind of his attacks, they're very fluid. It looks almost like how he would fight in the movies or in the comics and stuff. I don't know if anyone's got any other thoughts with that on what they saw.
Man, I don't think anybody's going to be upset about Spider-Man being in anything, but
PS4 exclusive, possibly. So
yeah, I know that it could sell some console. It could move some consoles. That's for sure. There's a lot up in the air as far as consoles and what's going to sell and what's not. Part of the power position that Sony has been put in just by sheer number of sales is that they can be a little bit confident, and they don't have to make the first move. Luckily for Xbox, not luckily, I'd say providentially for Xbox, they stepped out and put out a great gauntlet thrown down with the Scorpio. I mean, that's going to set the standard, set the bar high. And I think for us as gamers, that's a good, that's a good thing, because it's a better product for us all the way around. Yep. And so hopefully, a lot of people were upset that Sony didn't bring out the Neo. Regardless, look, if you've got a losing hand and somebody's got your hand beat, you fold. That's good poker. That's right. You do that in poker. You do that in anything else. And if you're in a power position and you've got more chips, you wait and hold out. So I really didn't have a problem with them not showing off the Neo for that reason. So I want to roll in. I know we're kind of running out of time. I want to roll in and cover one game we forgot. And then Reno, we'll let you start out with the moment you just couldn't let go of from the day. So talk a little bit about Halo Wars 2, and then give me like your 5-second, I couldn't let go of this moment for the day.
Who's stepping in on that one?
Reno. Sorry, that was for Reno specifically.
Oh, for the Halo Wars 2?
Yeah, give me the Halo Wars 2, and then give me your like 5 to 10 second. This is the thing that stuck with me. I could not let this go from the day.
Sure thing. So the Halo Wars 2, there's an open beta that's available today through the 20th, and that's available. You could download it now. If you're also playing Halo 5 Guardian, you can actually earn gold rec packs. So one for completing the first mission, and then 2 for completing the first 5. So that's, I don't know if everyone caught that or not, but it was all over Twitter sphere and things like that. And it's also going to be one of the play anywhere title. So really happy to see them reboot that. And for me, the one, actually I can't really pin it down to one thing, honestly, but the one thing that I want to keep looking into more is the clubs on Xbox as well. And what I'm most interested in actually getting my hands on and playing is a game I've played countless hours on, is the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare remastered. It looks like they did a good job redoing that, so I'm looking forward to playing that campaign through on Veteran.
Yeah. All right. So Warblade, give me your 5 second. I was most excited about this one thing, and this is what I'll be thinking about before I sleep tonight.
Oh, probably still have to go back to Titanfall 2. I think that's going to be a really, really good game with the amount of Titans and stuff that they have and the amount of new changes that they're introducing. Even though I don't think they showed much of it today.
All right, Celiphus, give me your one thing, the one thing you're not going to be able to let go of from today's E3 reveals.
One thing. Okay, shoot. So we're going back to Halo Wars 2 real quick. If you purchase it, you can also get the Halo Wars 1 remastered. They didn't really talk about that, but it's coming. Gears of War 4. Horizon
Gears of War
Zero
4. Hands down, favorite thing.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Sackside, give me your 5 to 10 second. I can't let go of this.
Horizon, and I didn't get to see the indie games that I wanted to see. They didn't really show any, and I've seen a lot from Microsoft. So that's one thing that I'll be looking for in the upcoming days of E3.
All right, Pickle 33, give me your thing that you're not going to be able to let go of by the end of the day today.
Honestly, the Spider-Man game, because I've been wanting a good Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2 for the Xbox, and seeing Insomniac tied to it, because I'm huge fans of them, made me really, really happy. Also, one other thing, when Kojima was introducing his game and stuff, I don't know if I misheard it or something because I was messing with my kid, but did he say right before he introduced it, and so here's the remake, and then showed the trailer for the game?
I didn't hear him say that.
I didn't see the stutter, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, he's very cryptic, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. All right, Dill Pickle, give me the one thing that you're not going to be able to let go of when you lay your head down on that sweet, sweet, comfy pillow mattress that you have.
It's all right, man. Only the best.
By the way, Pickle used to work at a mattress store. That's why I say that. Sorry.
Right,
Go ahead.
I got a steal. Crazy steal. Honestly, I think it was God of War for me. That I haven't been more impressed with the trailer in a long time. And I know you guys said that you're worried about, it's maybe a little too emotional, but I guarantee you they're not bringing God of War to the PS4 without just crazy, epic, global scale battles. So that's going to be in there. So I don't mind the little emotional, humanizing parts as long as they're mixed in with those I'm running on the arm of a Titan, cutting his arm off kind of thing. And I think that'll be in there. So I was really, really intrigued by that.
Yeah. All right, Senor Risorto, tell me, enlighten me, the one thing.
All right, go over a couple of things real quick. The Play Anywhere thing is digital only. Just want to throw that out there with the Xbox. That's an important thing to say. Things that stood out to me: the customizing your controller. Officially, Xbox has done that. That's awesome. I don't know about the $80 starting at thing though. I think one flat rate would be great. The Elite controller for Gears of War 4 looks sweet with the blood and the scratch. I love that. Sweet. The price though, I heard is like $199.
Calm down.
I don't know if that's confirmed, but that sounds really high.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ubisoft talked about it, but the South Park game, I saw something about that, and I love Stick of Truth, and I love superheroes, so I think that would be cool.
All right, sounds good to me. Mitt, give me your one thing you're gonna go to bed tonight giddy about as a little schoolgirl that you clearly resemble with that manly beard.
With that manly beard, yes. Well, I'm gonna try not to touch on anything that we've already talked about because I think there's so much that happened today. So I have two really, really quick things, if that's all right. First one is Scalebound. Microsoft came out with Scalebound, and I can't wait to be riding a dragon fighting enormous monsters.
Dragon
Looks awesome.
Riders.
The second one is Resident Evil Virtual Reality. Whoa, that's I'm gonna go to sleep thinking about that for sure.
I'm gonna try not to think about
Nightmares.
that when I close my eyes at night. That is the last thing that I want to do is close my eyes thinking about Resident Evil. All right, Johnny, I will let you have the last say of the guests here before I give my last spiel this evening. So, what is the one thing that's gonna have your rotten little brain going this evening?
The biggest thing that probably stood out to me the whole day is actually not even a game. It was that freaking orchestra at the PlayStation
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Bear McCreary is, he's a badass. He did a couple of really big things recently. A number of years ago, he did that Battlestar Galactica reboot that they did. He scored that, which if you haven't heard that, that's amazing. If you haven't watched that show, it's amazing. He's done The Walking Dead. He's done a number of other things, and yeah, having him come out there and do that was crazy.
All right. Well, while I do my last thing here, anybody on the Twitch chat have any questions you want answered? Go ahead and ask those while I give my last thing, my last shout out. And if we have one, we'll try to address those before we peace out this evening. The thing that I would mention actually wasn't in any of the pressers today, so I'm going to go off book a little bit. And this goes out to Rick DeRanger, one of our Dad's Gaming members, who is now working as a community manager, doing some PR stuff for Warhorse Studios in a game not dissimilar to For Honor, but that is an RPG. And so they demoed and things like that for E3 today. And that game looks like a whole lot of fun. The name is escaping me off the top of my head. Anybody help me out with the name of his game? You got it offhand?
Kingdom something?
Yeah. Is it Kingdom Rising? I want to say maybe.
Yeah, sorry. Kingdom something.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I forgot it as well. But Warhorse Studios, Rick DeRanger, man, congratulations. I'm really, really proud of you guys. It's been quite the last year for you taking that job and moving into the big boy position there. So very exciting. Warblade, Mitt, were you guys able to pull any questions from the Twitch chat, or are we good to sign out for the evening?
H-Town Eagle fan just asked if we had an opinion on why no Destiny was mentioned today.
We're not talking about that.
Johnny has an opinion.
My guess would be that Destiny was not mentioned because of their announcement on Thursday and the live stream that they did them to preempt some of the E3 things. Also, if they were doing gameplay trailers exclusively on Sony stuff and Sony has first dibs on Destiny stuff, I could see how that wouldn't fit in as well, because it doesn't seem like they really have a game trailer in other than what they've already revealed for Rise of Iron. And they may be saving up and sandbagging a little bit for later this week if they do anything in any of the other pressers as well. That would be my initial impression on why they didn't do anything. And then the thing that they revealed today was also their sandbox update with some of the balancing and things like that as well. So that's my guess.
Destiny in their reveal stream last week did mention that they would be revealing more stuff at E3. I kind of took that as like throughout the week in their booth, people that are there, they're going to be able to come and play, and slowly reveals will come out. And so I think by the end of the week, we'll know a little bit more. But I can't imagine if they were getting invited to one of these big pressers that they would have done their reveal the way they did it.
Yeah. What any other questions come up on there? Is that going
to? Nope. I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, look, thank you guys for participating this evening. This is by far the largest group we had in chat. I think it worked out pretty well. Everybody got to say and have their piece. If you didn't, you can yell at the empty space when we all log off and have your fill. For those of us that are tuning in and watching, thank you for sticking around with the time we've had. Thank you to all of our guests and hosts that are here tonight. You guys are awesome and amazing. Remember, Dad's Gaming, you can find us at dadsgaming.com. There you'll find our Reddit community. There you'll find our Twitch page that you're on now. There you'll find Twitter and things like that, how you can get a hold of us, how you can ask questions. Please make sure that you follow if you have not already to get more information all week long. We'll be going at 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, and 9 Pacific all week long. Works. So jump on in. If you got any questions, throw them on there. If you're a Dad's Gaming community member, jump in the Discord. Let us know you want to join in chat for the evening, what you want to talk about, and we'll try to throw you in there as well. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for joining in.
See you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.